Hello everybody, it's your boy, the Almighty Green Talent. Before I get back to this video, you can do some things for me. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell on top of the video, and don't forget to smash the like, because when you smash the likes, my content goes all over social media and YouTube land and social media for your enjoying pleasure. Okay, let's get right into it. The Eagles have been trying to make a trade for Patrick Surtain. Of course, you guys all know about that. Patrick Surtain II, he was a first-round draft pick a couple years ago by Denver Broncos. The Eagles had to make a play for him, but wasn't able to. I'm not exactly sure what the stipulations was as far as getting him. And it wasn't just him. The 49ers also tried to make a play for him as well, and quite a few other teams. But it appears that the Eagles have put a stamp, in other words, a notification letting them know that, hey, they're not gonna trade for him. I mean, if we don't trade for him, then the other team won't trade for him either. So that might have been what the situation was. So nobody had to Surtain. The Broncos decided to keep him, and so that kind of put the nail in the coffin on that situation. But here's what I really wanted to discuss about our secondary, which is Bradberry and Slay. Now, when the Eagles made some contract situations with them too, they both got 3-year deals, and both of the deals were under $40 million. Now, a lot of that money was guaranteed, and I'm quite sure they got the guaranteed money, but now, at the rate that both of these guys are playing, both of these guys are not playing at the same level as they were a few years ago. So it's a possibility that Howie Roseman might go to both of these guys in the off season and ask them to have their deal redid, which means that they're probably gonna take away a year and give them a 1-year deal apiece with most of the money up front after the deal is redone. That means that the Eagles are probably going to go in next year's draft and draft a cornerback with the first pick in next year's draft, or they can go offensive lineman. Depends on which one the most need first. But we all know the Eagles like draft in the trenches, a defensive lineman or offensive lineman. So the Eagles might go defensive lineman probably with the 2nd round pick. We have 2 2nd-round picks in next year's draft via the New Orleans Saints. But the situation that overall that these guys are older. Bradberry is 20. Bradberry has just turned 30 this year, and Slay is 32 years old. He'll be 33, I think, next year. January, February next year, he'll be 33 years old. So that is the upper echelon where cornerbacks start to fade off a little bit. There are some cornerbacks that are still good age 30 because they keep themselves well-rounded, and some players tend to fade at the cornerback and safety position. So that is what Bradberry and Slay are looking at right now. So it won't surprise me not if they do get 1-year deals when the season comes to an end, because see, when you don't play to the expectation of your contract, the cap hit is going to be extremely high, and that cap hit is going to be probably somewhere in the between the 15 to $20 million range. That's a very extreme high cap number for both of those cornerbacks apiece. That's I want to call $30 million to come between both contracts, and so it won't surprise me now if next year the Eagles do come up with a way of lowering both of their cap hits. Because if that happens, that means the Eagles are going to draft a corner next year's draft, and there would be some corner coming out in the 1st round next year. There won't be many, because next year is supposed to be quarterback heavy in next year's draft. It's up to 15 quarterbacks coming out in next year's draft, up to 15. Some gonna be juniors, some gonna be seniors. So a lot of them guys will be going in the 1st round next year. So the Eagles have an opportunity to draft at least one good corner with their 1st round pick in next year's draft. Cause we need a young corner, and keeping Bradberry and Slay would be helpful to the young corner that they got, that they can help mold and make them better corners for the future. So that's why I expect the Eagles to redo both their deals for next season. So overall, because our secondary, for the last 7 of 9 games in the second half of this season, our secondary have been extremely getting picked on. And the reason why they've been getting picked on because there's no lack of pass rush in the last 3 or 4 games that we played this year. When you don't get no pass rush, your cornerbacks stand out on the island by themselves to cover at least 2 or 3 wide receivers or a tight end coming over the middle. And so, hold on just a minute.
Yeah, I feel like this Kansas City Chiefs game.
So that's what we're faced with right now, because the simple fact is, it just our secondary is now suspect. It really is a suspect now when your secondary cannot cover wide receiver 101. A lot of people thinking that it's the scheme. Maybe it is the scheme, but I tell you this. Now, a lot of people have the issues with Jonathan Gannon, but now Jonathan Gannon's defense, Bradberry and Slade didn't get picked on as much. But with Sean Desai's defense, they're getting picked on. So you got 2 different defensive philosophies as far as Slade, and for as Jonathan Gannon and Desai had 2 different defensive philosophies. So that's why. So to me, that's the reason why Bradberry and Slade getting picked on because Sean Desai's defense, Slade and Bradberry are supposed to go 1-on-1 against wide receivers or tight ends coming out of the backfield or the slot receivers. But when you have an injured slot corner like Maddox, who's often injured prone, and then you try to put in players that don't play the slot position, that's easy pickings for the quarterback, and definitely easy pickings for running backs who have the ability to run up the gut, which means that the linebackers are getting surprised or getting blocked by offensive linemen, and then it leaves your corner on an island to tackle. Now, Slade's a good tackler, Bradberry is too, but they're not willing tacklers. Now, Eli Ricks is a willing tackler. That's why I think he's the future corner for the Eagles. The Eagles that need one more corner to go opposite Ricks when these 2 guys' careers are up and gone. So that's why I said going to the Super Bowl. Going to the Super Bowl this year is going to be very vital for the Philadelphia Eagles. We got to get to the Super Bowl, because when we get to the Super Bowl, the Eagles can release Bradberry and Slade with no situation, because see, Bradberry and Slade contracts are minimum at best, which means that if they release them, they won't suffer much salary cap hit. No more than about $10 million, probably no more than $10 million apiece if they do release both of those guys. So that's what we're faced with for a DB position, and for his corner position, and for a slot position. So when Roby does return, that would be a major help, but he's a veteran, and at some point he's gonna get picked on or get exposed. So that's where your youth versus your older guys. And I'm hoping Bayard also do better, because he was bought there for one reason, and that to tackle and keep tight ends from going over the middle. That's why he was bought there. But he got exposed the last couple of games with the Eagles as well. So we'll see how that goes as well. So that's what we're faced with as far as cornerbacks concerned. So I'm hoping that the Eagles can solve this between now and the playoffs, because see, securing the #1 seed is going to be very vital. Slade and Bradberry got to play better. They got to play better, because if not, they will be picked on by Mahomes, who's able of getting the ball out of his hands out at an alarming rate over the middle, or on slot and zone, or versus slot and zone positions as well. So this got to be worked out right away, because we cannot afford to have these guys getting picked on for 8, 9, and 10 yards for first downs, or other words, getting chunk of yards for first downs, especially on running play, because if you can't guard the wideouts one-on-one, you're leaving your linebackers and your defensive line to stop the run. And once you come on stopping the run, the offensive lineman can push you out the way, and the run game can go straight forward for minimum of 8-9 yards for first downs, or for short yardage, because it could be third, it could be first and 10. He pick up 8 yards, and that make it 2nd and 2. So we don't want them type of situations with the Kansas City Chiefs, because Kansas City Chiefs do pick up chunks of yards with the run game and with the wide receiver help, and especially the tight end by the name of Travis Kelce. Because Travis Kelce, for some reason, he seems to get open a lot, and the Eagles have been having issues containing tight ends have been getting open. If you look at the last 8 of 9 games we played last year, teams have had pretty good tight ends, or have had mediocre tight ends that been getting over in the middle for chunks of yards. That needs to stop when the Eagles play Kansas City, because if not, Kelce had in the playoffs. Kelce had over 80-some yards in the playoffs, and a couple of touchdowns on the Eagles last season in the Super Bowl. The same thing could happen again if they do not find a way to cover Travis Kelce. That got to be solved next Monday night against them in Kansas City, because if not, we're going to get beat over the middle by a tight end who capable of getting over 100 yards or more, maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns, or maybe more, because it could wind up being a blowout. And we cannot afford a blowout, and we definitely cannot afford to be in a high-scoring game. The Eagles defense going to have to come up big against Kansas City somehow, some way. So Desai better figure this out, because if he's not, he going to be the worst defensive coordinator the Eagles ever had, and he could wind up being out by the end of the season. So something got to change. Something got to change, because I'm really getting tired of our defense getting beat over the middle by opposing quarterbacks, and especially mediocre quarterbacks who the Eagles defense is making look like Pro Bowl quarterbacks. It needs to change. It does need to change. So that's what I wanted to speak about our DBs, because I hope Desai had plenty ample opportunity to work out these guys and look at get the philosophy straight, and let these guys know that this is what needs to be worked on. This is what you're doing. This is what your missteps, your intakes, your outtakes, and to figure out ways on the field to become better players on defense. Because if not, we will be beat deep, and I can afford to be beat deep, and Kansas can't afford to be beat deep either. So I'm hoping that be the situation coming next month against the Kansas City Chiefs. We got to beat them. We got to beat them. Got to. Because if we don't, that would be the end of us. So anyway, that's what I wanted to discuss with you guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about the Kansas City Chiefs game next Monday night against Kansas City Chiefs. Let me know what you think, guys. Do you think the Eagles figured out the situation? Do you think they figured out some way to make the defensive backs better? Because Bradberry and Slay have been picked on in the last 7 or 9 games. They really have. And this needs to change, because, see, that's one of the reasons why we have been getting out. See, the Eagles only had 2 30-point games this season. One was against 3. We had 3. Both of them was against the Washington Commanders, and the other one was against the Rams. The only 3 games we had this season with 30 points or more scored. The Eagles haven't put up 30 points in multiple games since last season. So that's because our defense was able to match other opposing teams' offense. That's why. And I understand we only had 2 players taken away from us, and that was C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and what's the boy name, the defensive tackle who with the 49ers now, Hargrove. Them only 2 guys that we lost on defense, and some other guys that were backup players, and guys that had 1-year deals and gone. That's it. But our 2 major ones was Hargrove and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Them only 2 guys that we had major that left. 1 guy on defensive tackle, on defense, and both guys on offense. That's it. I'm sorry, both guys on defense. That's it. That is it. So I'm hoping they work this out. Something got to be done, y'all, because I'm really getting tired of seeing our secondary getting beat up like that. I mean, this is a crazy team that we are up against, and we're playing, and our teams are making us pull our hair out of our heads, giving us heart attacks, brain aneurysms, and blood clots, worrying about the wins and losses. This is what we're faced with every week. Basically all this, basically this whole season, or half this season for that matter. So I'm hoping that this works. I'm hoping that Sean Desai, because our offense is okay. We're good offensively. The Eagles need to figure out things out defensively, because our DBs are getting beat up on a constant basis. I don't know how many times I don't know how many times I can state that. You guys know what I'm talking about out there. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think at the bottom of the comment section below. Let me know what you think, because I think I said enough about our defensive backs, Eagle defensive backs, and Sean Desai. I think I said enough there. So anyway, you guys enjoy your Tuesday. I'm definitely trying to enjoy mine. I'm out of here. Peace.